UFC 301. You might as well call it UFC Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. Every single fight on the card has a Brazilian fighter on it. Like a lot of these kind of cards when they go to different countries, there's a lot of spots they're safe, but I think there's some that they are not safe, and they're going to be some good spots to bet. So let's break down this card. Please like, please subscribe. First fight of the night, we have got Alessandro Costa versus Kevin Borjas. These are two I would say two younger prospects. They're both pretty good. Both will never be champion. It'd be tough for either of them to crack the top 10, even really, but they're both fairly exciting fighters. Costa has only two losses in the last like 5, 6, 7 years, were to Steven Erceg by decision. Nothing wrong with that. Erceg's in the main event here. And to that Amir Albabi or whatever Albazi or whatever his name is. Again, not a terrible loss either, because that guy's the very top of the division. And then you got Kevin Borges, just lost to Joshua Van. Um, a lot of people are on the Kevin Borges side because I think they think maybe he's less cracked, less battle worn, maybe more durable, maybe a little bit the youth, speed, volume, all those kind of things. Because Costa can be kind of low output. He relies on power a lot. But I think this is a very close fight. I think all the overs are live. And as much as I'd like to stab the dog in Borges, I don't think I can just based off that he doesn't have the experience against the higher level guys. I mean, Joshua Van, great prospect. So, I mean, obviously that's a good one. But I'm going to lean Costa slightly, and I think it's going to go long. I think it's going to mostly be on the feet in a long fight. What do you think?
I think it goes long as well, but Costa is live for a finish here. I know Borges is durable. A lot of people are siding with Borges because of the volume. He does throw a lot of volume in his fights, but Costa has the hidden weapon of I think he's got the better ground game here as well, right? He doesn't really use it. His takedown defense is good, but I've seen him use takedowns in some of his regional tape as well. He even tried to go for some takedowns against Steven Erceg there in his last one. Now Borges, he fought Joshua Van, but he got taken down by Victor Diaz in a fight that he was a big underdog in the Dana White Contender Series, and he got taken out twice by Joshua Van. So I think Costa's team, if they're smart, they will, to mix. I'm not saying to just wrestle fuck him the whole time. I'm saying mix in some wrestling here because you are. I think he is the better grappler out of the two, as well as I think he's a better counter striker too, right? He might not throw enough volume, so that buyer beware. But I think at minus 138, he seems like good value to me. He has the better record against better competition. Let's put it that way. Two guys in top five in the division he's faced, right? So a lot more than both, I think.
I agree. Moving on, next fight of the night, we've got Ishmael Bonfim versus Vince Pichel. Uh, hey, Pichel is old as hell, guys. I mean, he's at his best when he can kind of grind and he can use some grappling and mix things up. But this is just too wide of an age gap here. Bonfim, yes, he did lose to Benoit Saint Denis, but the guy's an absolute beast. I don't think he's going to get taken down and submitted here in this fight. In fact, I'd probably give him the advantage just about everywhere. And then you add in the fact that you got like a 13-year age gap here or whatever. I think this is a definite Bonfim win here. I know that he's definitely I don't know. I mean, he's not the better brother, but I think he's still too much for Vince Pichel. I think this is a setup fight to get the Brazilian crowd going here. And Brazil wins this one, I think. What do you think?
I don't think Vince goes down easily. He's always known to be semi-durable. Uh, but like you said, the age gaps. Vince has gone to decision and has only been finished by Gregor Gillespie and Rustam Khabilov a long time ago. So I don't know, man. These Bonfim brothers are very skeptical. I'm very skeptical of them, right? So, okay, so I break this down. I think Bonfim has all the things go working in his favor. The striking's working in his favor, the youth, the speed, all that shit's working in his favor. But like fucking grit and the gas tank, I don't know if he has it. I mean, minus 500, I ain't gonna try and find out. I'll tell you that much. Because there is a path to victory for Vince Pichel. It's probably not happening. Let's be honest here. Grind him up, tire him out, push him up. Same thing happens to his bro. I mean, this guy looks like, I don't know, man. These guys have skeptical gas tanks, and when they come up against maybe Vince Pichel 6 years ago would probably beat Bonfim in this spot because he'll just use that grindy, durable game, push him up against the side, grind him out, and take a unanimous decision, right? So it is what it is. I think the youth has him. I'm going Bonfim, but I'm not happy about it. I probably won't bet this. And for fuck's sakes, I don't mind if Vince wins this.
Yeah, no, no. And at these odds, it's a no bet. It's just the purpose of picking a winner. This is not a betting fight.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, moving on. We've got two very green women fighters here. We got Dion Barbosa versus Ernesta Kareckaite. Dude, this is a grappler versus striker. It is very hard to be confident on either side. There's not a whole lot of tape on either of them, and neither of them have fought anybody of note. So, I mean, I think the whole world, well, I shouldn't say the whole world, but the odds are saying Barbosa is going to grapple fuck her because Ernesta has shown she's looked kind of weak on the ground in her little bit of tape that we can find. But that said, she should be the better striker. She's very big, way bigger than Barbosa here. For me, again, why throw your money on two girls you know nothing about? Women's MMA, you don't want to throw too much on anyways. Then you don't really know them that well. But at 2-1 odds, I'm taking the bigger striker underdog. But like, it's not a parlay. It's not anything. It's basically a pass or sprinkle the dog. What do you think?
There's some good points of both ladies. Barbosa looks like she has a really good ground game. Moves around, goes for the sub really quickly. But those are girls that she somewhat dominates on the ground. So I don't know if anyone's ever shown her any like, pushback. And the other girl, I can't even say her name, Ernesta. Let's just go with that. Her Dana White Contender Series, probably one of the best women's Dana White Contender Series matches I have ever seen on tape. It was pretty damn good. She fought a Carly Judas, and those girls were throwing, man. 184 to 160 were like the significant strikes. And like, she looked like she could throw volume. She even put in like a shitty takedown in there too, right? So, I mean, it shows sort of like she's not gonna take down this girl though. That would be bad fight IQ. But yeah, man, I mean the volume's there. For whatever reason, if you go and you can live bet this as well if you don't want to hit the dog first. If you go and Barboza can't get her down in the first round, she's gonna get eaten up on the feet. I'm 100% sure she gets eaten up on the feet, right? I just don't think it stays on the feet long enough to get eaten up on, if you know what I'm saying, right? You know what I mean? But yo, if she stops the takedowns, live bet this shit second round. Go with Ernesta, because if she can't take her down, she's lost. I think she loses.
Yeah, simple as that. It's going to come down to the takedowns. Moving on, we got Mauricio Ruffy, 9-1 from Brazil versus Jamie Mullarkey, 17-7. Not a whole lot of footage again on the Brazilian here, Mauricio Ruffy, other than he's a hard-hitting striker. He's looking to knock out Jamie Mullarkey. And how does Jamie Mullarkey lose? When he loses by getting knocked out. So, I mean, all the things point to Mullarkey could get knocked out here. The question is will Mullarkey shoot takedowns and grind him out and win by being on top? Because Mullarkey is not a dangerous fighter. All the danger, all the finishing equity is going to be on Mauricio here. And honestly, I've always been a Jamie Mullarkey hater. I always bet against him. I've won a lot of money betting against him. I don't think he's some great wrestler. He usually starts the fight okay when he's like super fresh or whatever. And it's not even that thing about him gassing, because I don't think it's really he's gassing, but he's not some powerhouse American wrestler. So I think at some point he will not be able to get those takedowns. And when he can't get those takedowns anymore, he probably will get chinned. Not going to be a parlay piece. It's not going to be a huge bet. But I think I would sprinkle the single Mauricio by finish, because when Mullarkey loses, it's usually by finish. But I got to wait for the props to come out before I can say for sure that that's what I want to do. But that's what I'm looking to do. What do you think?
Ruffy's shown, from whatever little tape I've been able to watch on him, shown pretty good takedown defense. It's decent. Not a lot of guys. I haven't seen too many takedown shot on him. And it's not like Mullarkey comes in there with a wrestling game plan. It's more or less a second plan when he starts blocking punches with his face, and that he kind of turns to the wrestling because he doesn't want to keep taking punches to the face, because that's not really good for him because his chin is somewhat glass. Let's be honest with it, right? So he's pretty rudimentary in whatever he does, pretty 1-2-ish. Bad head movement. Let's just put it that way. So I think he gets caught because his fighting style is not going to work here against the more powerful puncher. And what happened when he won every second of that 9 mile fight until he didn't win, right? And who says that Ruffy's going to be the minute winner? He may not be the minute winner, but I can't trust Jamie Mullarkey to not block punches with his face. That's it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. He's got to be perfect for 15 minutes, and he probably won't be.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving on, we got Joaquim Silva versus Drakkar Klose. Silva is known as a submission grappler with power in his hands. He definitely does have power. So he's always going to be live for a club and sub for sure. But I don't think he's getting it here. I think Klose is the better striker, the more technical guy. I think he's going to be able to not get dropped and not get submitted. I think he's going to be, as we just talked about minute winners here. I think he is the minute winner of this fight in every sense of the fight, and even he is probably live for a finish. To be honest, I just think he's one step ahead. Too technical. I think he's the better. I just think he's the better fighter here. I think Silva's got power and opportunistic snatch a submission kind of thing, but other than catching a huge finishing moment, he should be down this whole fight. So I'm definitely on the Drakkar side. What do you think?
Well, Drakar's been coming on pretty good. The guys he's beaten in the last little bit. Selecki's a pretty good fighter. Rafa Garcia is a pretty good fighter. We both have made bets on both of those guys in the past. So like that right there, he's got the better resume. Joaquim Silva couldn't even finish a 40-year-old Guida in his last fight, man. Got taken down twice too in that fight. Got taken four times by Armand, no big deal. Got taken down by Jared Gordon. And so like that's another path to victory that we don't talk about Drakkar Close. Is he's the more well-rounded in the sense that he can actually employ some wrestling here if he wants to. I don't think he will because I feel like he's the better striker, and it's been known that he doesn't have the finishing power, but like Silva's also a gasser. Remember how he kind of hurt Armand and then sort of to gas at the end of that fight? I mean, I know it's Armand Sarukian, but still, right? And, that fight against Clay Guida, he should have essentially, smashed Clay Guida, but he didn't, right? And it says unanimous decision, but I don't know. Yeah, throw Clay a fucking round, man. But yeah, man, actually I think Close is very undervalued at minus 163. I feel like that's a good line for Close, and he's a guy that I'll play probably quite a bit on this card. I'd like him. Yeah, there's a few spots I like him. I like Costa, so there's two right now, folks.
All right, there's more to come.
Yeah.
Moving on, we got John Silva versus William Gomis. It's funny, this Silva guy came in with a lot of hype, and I was looking forward to his fight. And yes, he got the knockout, but he really didn't impress me a whole lot. I mean, it's hard to say, oh, but he got a nice knockout. How does that not impress you? But I just found he's kind of plodding. He wasn't overly fast. Yes, he was stalking him down, but there's levels to the competition. I don't know. I didn't love his output. I didn't love his speed. I didn't love his plotting style. He's much smaller. And then you got William here, who's the exact opposite. He's tall. He's fast. He's got volume. So I think all the things are kind of on his side. I don't love him either. I mean, a split decision with Francis Marshall is not the greatest look for him either. But I do like the volume. I like the speed. I don't think he's going to get knocked out and clocked the way the last guy did from Silva there. I will be rooting for the Silva knockout. I hope the guy is the savage that we heard he was. I just don't trust the volume. I don't trust his size here. I think you got a huge 6 foot versus 5'7". I don't know. I'm rooting for Silva, but the fight as a whole for me is a pass. I think it's going to play out on its feet, and I'm just not sure that he's going to be able to catch him. I think he might get pot shotted from the outside. Again, I think all the overs are live, and it's just from a betting perspective, I don't feel confident enough to bet on this one. What do you think?
Silva's that guy that came to the ring, I mean, the octagon barking last time, wasn't he? That's him, right? Oh,
Yeah.
oh. All right, he's okay, yeah, but he is plotting, and he carries a good punch. If you're standing in front of him like Weston fucking Wilson was, right? Like so, this guy Gomis, if you look at his tape, he moves around a lot. He doesn't have the greatest volume himself, but he's always moving around. He's on his bike, like you said, on the outside, like you said, and then who says he's not gonna just like run away from this guy for fucking 3 rounds and just pot shot him? But anyways. I think the tipping point is the ground game. I think he's got the better ground game because I mean Gomes fight with Jarno Evans. Jarno Evans actually turned out to be an okay fighter, right? He took out Jarno Evans 3 times in that fight, controlled him for a bit. And would you put up John Silva against Jarno Evans at this point in their careers? I don't know. I mean, Jarno Evans is really durable, and he got taken down 3 times. He's actually really tough. And I don't know, is this guy barking really that tough? I haven't seen too much aside from him destroying people on regional tape. So like, it's a tough one. He kind of had trouble with his Dana White Contender Series fight. He did clearly win it, but this one's a tough one. At plus 110, I think I'm gonna stab the dog here. Um, I think he can stay on his, but yeah, I I think he just doesn't get for as bad as Gomes' volume is that I say sometimes. John Silva doesn't throw amazing volume either. Like it's 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 not amazing either. So and if he's on his bike all the time and he's missing with half these shots, who the fuck knows, right? So
Yep.
I take Gomes. I think he's more well-rounded.
All right, there you have it. Moving on, we got a very fun prelim. We got Elves Brener versus Mittigbeck Oralbai. Sorry, I don't even know how to say that first name. Mittigbeck Oralbai. You know who he is.
It's Mike
Um,
Swanback, I think it
there you go.
is.
Uh, Brenner is a very live dog. I see a lot of people kind of counting him out here. And I don't know really why. I think he's the grittier, tougher guy, to be honest. Yes, there's absolutely the chance where he's just going to get taken down and beaten from top position because even though he's a good grappler, chances of him catching a submission from the bottom like these days doesn't happen all that often. So there's definitely the path to victory there for Orolba to take him down and pound him out on the ground. Absolutely, that's possible. But Brenner's tough, man. Very, very durable. He's gonna come forward. He's gonna go for it at least. Like he's one of those underdogs that you at least like putting your money on him. At least you know as a dog he's gonna fight for your money. He's going to go for it. I loved his win over Guram Kutadaladze there. He screwed me some money on that fight because I thought Guram was the real deal, and obviously this guy came back and knocked him out or whatever, or beat him in the third round in crazy fashion. But he's a live dog. All I'm going to say is he's a very live dog. He might get taken down and pounded from top, but if he can avoid being taken down, and I know everyone else is still going to say Orolba is the better striker. He outstruck Medic last fight or whatever, but still, I think this is a closer fight than people are giving Brenner. Like people are counting Brenner out. Brenner is a good fighter. He's a good live dog, very gritty guy, and this is going to be a fun fight. Betting wise, I don't know, but it's a fun fight. I will pick. Fuck. I don't know, man. This is a good fight. I like this one. What do you think?
I'm taking Oralbai, and I think he's gonna club this guy. I just ground games are on different levels, to be honest with you. But it's not just the ground games. It's like so like I think so Elvis Brenner won all 3 fights, but that one against Tuhugov, he lost that fight. Let's just be honest with you. Guram fucking gassed. And this last fight he fought the shittiest guy that is of all the three, and then yeah, he finally won one. So his record's a little bit tainted in my eyes, right? This guy, if you look at my titty back there and then look at his regional tape before this last fight with Euros, fuck this last fight. Euros Medic has no fucking takedown defense, and he just got mauled on the ground, right? So uh, Brenner's a little bit better than that, I think. So it's his regional tape. So like Oralbai has pretty good wrestling, if you ask me, man. Pretty good wrestling, and then on top of which he has pretty good striking as well. So like a lot of his fights before he came here, he was knocking guys out. That was his bread and butter. He just had the ground game. So 275, I feel is like a gift. I don't care. He might not knock this guy out because Brenner's like pretty tough. Probably goes to decision, but you never count Orla Bida in the finish off away, you know what I mean? So The only thing I can say is Brener's not going to gas, and Oralbai might gas, and that'd be the only way that Brener can pull this off. But he's up there on my top five plays of the card.
All right. Moving on, we got Carolina Kowalkiewicz versus Eisman Lucindo. This is a classic striker versus grappler, women's MMA match, and with mismatched ages. Huge age gap here. I think you're looking at like 12 to 15 years. Like it's a really big age gap. Carolina, 4 wins in a row. She's on a bit of a heater. Uh, she should be the better striker. Should be. And she's not terrible on the ground. Then you got Lucindo. Lucindo, not a very good striker, not the greatest grappler in the world, but she definitely has the grappling advantage, definitely, and she probably can get her down, and then she'll work from there. I mean, that's what she does. And even if she can't get the takedown, it's not like Carolina's a huge one-shot knockout power striker, so it's not like Lucindo's like in huge danger if she can't get the takedown early. Like it's not going to be a one-shot changes the fight sort of thing. So for that fact alone and the age difference, at some point, even Lucindo, if Lucindo has to eat a couple shots, she's not going to get knocked out. She'll eventually get the takedown, and then she'll work from there. I would love to be able to say I want to stab Carolina because I do. Like, I don't think Eisman is that great. Part of me wants to bet against her, but I do think she's going to win this fight. I don't think this is the spot to fade her quite yet. What do you think?
I think you're right. I mean, Carolina in her past fights has shown, sorry, that she can be taken down. She's also showed that she can take people down. I don't think she's going to take down Lucindo. Um, but Lucindo is a little bit low volume. I mean, I had her to finish Brogan Walker, and I needed her to finish Brogan Walker, and she dominated Brogan Walker so badly, and she still didn't finish, Brogan Walker. But let's put it this way. Now, again, women's live best spot. The Carolina sports a 75% takedown defense. We've seen this play out before. Lucindo versus Yagiri, who is another striker, and Lucindo couldn't take down Yagiri. She lost a volume striking match, right? I don't think whoever wins first round, even if it was Carolina, that the odds will flip that much that you couldn't get a good number on Carolina if she couldn't get taken down in the first round. I think you can get a pretty decent number. You might not get your plus two fucking 50, but you might get something, right? Depends on how good, if she won or if it was close or not, right? But like again, this is another thing where like the other women's fight, the takedowns are the key here. If Lucindo can't get takedowns, I don't know if she's gonna outstrike her. I
No, she's fucked if she can't get the takedowns.
don't think she can outstrike her. I'm being honest here. I don't want to. I'm trying to. I don't know. I want to bet on Carolina, but I can't because I think she's going to get taken down, just like you said. But like, I see a path to victory, and like I said, guys, live bet these two women fights. Like that's probably the best way to go about this thing.
Yep, I like it. All right, moving on. We got Joe Anderson Brito versus Jack Shore. Joe Anderson Brito is the much more dangerous fighter. This guy can knock you out. He can submit you. He's a lot of fun. Then you got Jack Shore, who is honestly like a Jamie Mullarkey, like kind of like not in the fact that he gets knocked out all the time or anything like that, but like his fighting style is kind of like just wants to grind you. He's gonna want to get the takedowns here and be on top. He's not gonna want to strike with Joe Anderson Brito. And he's still got to be careful, even if he does get those takedowns, because Joe Anderson Brito can finish you at any point. I mean, he was getting kind of ragdolled by Jonathan Pierce, but what happened? He caught that submission. So Brito is the much more dangerous guy. Jack Shore is Jamie Mullarkey. You already know I don't like Jamie Mullarkey, so I'm gonna pick Joe Anderson Brito by finish. But it wouldn't be shocking if Jack Shore grinded this out. But I'm gonna go for the more dangerous, funner, more exciting fighter. I'm going with Joe Anderson Brito and I hope he gets the finish here. What do you think?
Well, Jack Shore, let's put it this simple. Jack Shore is probably the minute winner, and Joe Anderson Brito is probably the moment winner here. Um, It depends on if Jack Shore can get his wrestling going because you know that I don't know if he's gonna stand there and strike with this guy. I mean, he's put up volume before, don't get me wrong. But he mixes in the takedown. Like he lost that first round to Mach 1, but came back pretty strong. That fight against Ricky Simone was bad. He got run over pretty much. But aside from the first few fights in the league, but he's 92 strikes against Ludovic Shalinian, 70 against Timur Valiev, um, and multiple takedowns in those. I mean, that's the key to his victory here is the takedowns. Joe Anderson Brito is strong as fuck, but he is susceptible to being taken down. Sometimes I actually think he gets on the ground. This fight IQ is a little bit square, but like, let's be honest, he does have the finishing equity here. Another good bet here might be just to take Joe Anderson Brito finish only. So if it does go to decision, then you get your money back. Because if there's a finish, I think it's going to be Joe Anderson Brito. Um, if there's going to be a decision, I think it's going to be Jack Shore. Because Joe Anderson Brito, for as controlled as he gets, he doesn't get finished. So I think Joe Anderson Brito, didn't he fight Weston Wilson too?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure that I don't even know. Yeah, he did. Who would sanction that bullshit? Yeah, he got his butt kicked in that one. Brito's good though. This is a tough fight to call. I'm actually gonna pass this one, but Brito's a heavy favorite though, but it's gonna look like he's not winning until he is.
Yep, I agree. Moving on, main card. If you haven't already, please like, please subscribe. First fight of the main card, we got Paul Craig, everybody's favorite Scottish maniac, versus Caio Borralho. On paper, it looks like a grappler versus a grappler, which I mean, I guess it is. Paul Craig is always live to snatch something out of nowhere, but whenever he can't snatch something out of nowhere, he loses, and that's exactly what should happen here. Caio Borralho, Brazilian grappler, he should not be getting caught in a submission. I mean, Andre Muniz shouldn't be either, but I mean, so stranger things have happened, but Borralho is the much stronger athlete here. He should be able to outstrike Paul Craig. He should be able to be the person on top because he's just way more stronger than Paul Craig is. I mean, he should be good, period. He should be good. Caio Borralho should win this fight fairly easy. Um, and Borralho can be very fucking boring, so I hope he's not here. I hope he fucking excites a little bit because he's had some god awful fights, but I still got to pick him here. And I like Paul Craig. I would love to see a Paul Craig victory, but I can't pick Paul Craig here because I mean he should not be submitting Caio Borralho. So I got Borralho all day. What do you think?
Raul's the more well-rounded guy. He's got the better striking. I feel like the ground games wish-wash each other, and they shouldn't even hit the ground, right? So like. What's Paul Craig's always been his problem is like great jujitsu, but no takedowns, no wrestling, right? And he's not gonna wrestle Kyle here. So yeah, make this first breakdown short and sweet. Like Kyle's not getting taken down, and who's the better striker? We all know Paul Craig can't strike, and Kyle Borralho is not the greatest striker, but at least he has a couple like a real KO on his fucking record. And you've seen him fight. He fought a boost, and almost all that fight was all stand up. And Boost was fighting Sean Strickland as a favorite just a couple fights back, and Kyle pretty much dominated that fight. Mind you, low volume. Mind you, he could throw a little bit more, but he's fighting Paul Craig. But the odds are
Yeah.
sucks. So I would say he's parlayable though. Parlayable is shit. Like I'm pretty strong on that one.
All right, moving on. We got Michel Pereira versus Ihor Potieria. Michel has been on a fucking heater since moving to middleweight. Not like I mean, the guy's always been winning, and it's kind of bugged me that they never really give him the big step up. Like, come on, move this guy already. Give him the step up in competition. So that's always bothered me. But since moving to middleweight, he's finishing guys. He's finally finishing all his fights. And I think this is another fight where we are going to see a finish because Ihor is not the most durable guy. And when he wins, it's usually by knockout too. Now, Ihor can definitely strike. He can hit hard, but I don't think he's going to knock out Michel Pereira. And on top of that, if Michel wanted to play the grappling card, he's also got that in his back pocket. So if for some reason he wasn't getting the better of the striking, which is possible, he could take him down and beat him like that. He's too strong, too athletic, too well rounded. I think this is a Michel Pereira finish. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a Michel Pereira finish. I can't see anything else. He only wins against guys that he's supposed to win against, like Mauricio Shogun Rua, sorry, or the corpse of Mauricio Shogun Rua, Robert Bryce. Those are guys he's supposed to win against. The car when he faces Carlos Ulberg, what happens? He has face plucked in. He faced Rodolfo Bellato, who he was actually winning for a bit. Bellato actually showed that he could be a prospect in this. So, here he goes. Nikolai Negamariano, that's another one. I just don't see where Michelle loses this fight. He's the better striker, better ground game, better everything. -6, -550 is what I see him at now. Parlay him because I'm that confident that he's going to win this fight.
Yeah, I know. Well, wait for the props because I think it's a finish, man. Ihor is very finishable.
Very, very much so.
All right, moving on. We have got Anthony Smith versus Vitor Petrino. I'm gonna catch flack for saying this, and I don't care. Anthony Smith is a fucking douchebag, man. This guy is so condescending the way he talks. I hope Vitor Petrino fucking retires this guy brutally. I'm sorry for saying that for those of you who are gonna get offended, but he said some I don't know. I don't like the shit Anthony Smith says in interviews. On to the fight. Anthony Smith on paper should be the more technical fighter. In his prime, he was probably the better striker, and he is probably the better pure submission grappler. However, the last couple of years, Anthony Smith is not the same person. He is scared to strike. He does not want anything to do with striking. He is very tentative, very gun shy, wants nothing to do with it. Vitor Petrino is too powerful of a man for Anthony Smith to want to stand and bang with. That will not end well for him. He won't do it. He's going to be, like I said, he's going to be gun shy. He's going to be curling up almost in survival mode. His last few fights have been terrible, I think. And then on top of that, while he might be the better submission grappler, he's just way out muscled here. I mean, Vitor Petrino has got to be one of the strongest guys in the division. So Anthony Smith is not going to take him down. He'll be on the bottom. Anthony Smith is not Fabricio Verdum on the bottom. He's not gonna throw up a crazy triangle or armbar or something like that. Anthony Smith's fucked here, in my opinion. Vitor Petrino, only way he loses this fight is if he gasses horrendously. And I just don't see it anyways. Anthony Smith, gun shy, should be done fighting. His last few fights have been horrendous. I don't see him changing anything here. I'm definitely on Vitor Petrino. What do you think?
I think the striking comparable because Vitor's a little still sloppy still, right? You know what I mean? So it's Anthony might be a little bit more technical. And the turning point though is Vitor on the ground. Shown in multiple fights, he is able to take guys down and hold them down. Multiple takedowns in different fights and multiple minutes of control time. So, you know what? I think that's the difference here. Anthony sports a 50% takedown defense. You might say, "Oh no," but people haven't been taking him down in his last 5 fights. Well, he's either getting finished or he's fighting strikers, right? So every time he fought Jimmy Crute, he won that fight. He got taken down 3 times. Jimmy Crute had like a busted up like ankle like hanging off his thing, right? You can imagine if Jimmy Crute, who isn't that good, would be able to wrestle fuck him for the whole fight. That'll be a little different, you know what I mean? Vitor Petrino, just mind your P's and Q's. Don't get caught on the leg kicks, and you should be fine, son. -500, I don't like it. I don't like it as much as Pereira and the other guy, but I think you're the rightful favorite.
Moving on to the co-main event, we got Jonathan Martinez versus Jose Aldo, the King of Rio. Short and sweet because I love Jose Aldo and I don't want to talk shit on the guy. Nothing but respect for him, but I think he is absolutely fucked here. I think Jonathan Martinez is the best value on this card. Personally, I think he could leg kick Aldo to death. I think he can outstrike him with his hands. I think he's fine absolutely everywhere. I think Jose Aldo lost that boxing match to Jeremy Stevens, whether you guys watched it or not, when they did their little boxing it feels like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. Jose Aldo has no volume, no nothing anymore. He's fighting to get out of his UFC contract so he can go make a bigger fight boxing. He's not here to win this fight, and he's not going to win this fight. And I think Jonathan Martinez at his current odds is a steal. And I did place a pretty big bet on him that I'll show at the end of the video. What do you think?
I think Martinez is the rightful favorite here, and I think he should win this fight. He's younger, he should be faster, should be more durable. The only thing I'm worried about, and it's a true worry, is that this fight card's in Brazil, and if it goes to decision and it's relatively close, I don't know, man. Yo, Jose Aldo beat Rob Font in that fight because he knocked him down one time. Give me a break. He got outstruck by like 1,000. I think it was like, what was it, man? It was like 149 to 86, and he had 2 knockdowns. Like, I don't see how that works out. Like, okay, whatever. I think Martinez is just a faster, younger guy. Should be able to dance circles around. Although it doesn't help Aldo that Martinez is coming off a good win against Adrian Yanez, and there's been a layoff for Aldo as well. So let's go.
I don't think it's going to be that close. I think it's going to be pretty clear cut. Moving on to the main event, we got Alessandro Pantoja, the champion, versus Steven Astro Boy Erceg. I've made a lot of money on both of these guys. I always bet Pantoja against Royval, against Marino, and Erceg. I bet from his very first fight on short notice. I picked him over David Dvorak because I said this guy is good. So two guys that I always bet on, two guys that have both made me a lot of money. I am on the underdog, Steven Erceg. I think Pantoja is a great fighter. I'm not going to disrespect him here, but he's too hittable. And I don't think he's going to be able to backpack Steven Erceg this whole fight like everybody else seems to think. So Erceg is another guy that I hit pretty hard on a couple bets here. Um, I think he's live. I think he's going to beat him up. I think he's going to outstrike him, and I don't think he's going to get taken down and backpack the whole fight. And he's a hell of a grappler, anyways. I think people think Pantoja is just going to have his way grappling him. I don't think that's necessarily true. Erceg is a good grappler. I think he's going to be fine, and I think we got a new champion here. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm on Erceg, and I feel pretty good about it, honestly. What do you see?
I see volume wise, they're pretty close to being the same volume wise though. So if this turns out to be a straight boxing match, Erceg will look more technical, and Pantoja will be that guy that throws the flurries in because that's the way he boxes. And he's the guy that looks tired, but's not really ever tired, but he always looks tired. Now Pantoja, now to break down his last fights, he's got like he fought Royval eight takedowns, like 15 minutes of control time. Moreno six takedowns, like 10 minutes of control time. He took down Perez neck crank. Three more takedowns against Royval in their first fight before he rear naked choked him, right? So the only person to be able to take him down was Manal Kopp, and he still won that because he outvolumed him 74-49. We know how Kopp gets, right? So then he lost to Askarov, which I thought was a stupid fight. It was kind of quite boring, to be honest with you. But let's put that in perspective now. Erceg, yeah, I mean, his best win, unfortunately, is David Dvorak in my eyes. He fought really good that fight, but 54-53, and he used three of his own takedowns. I don't think takedowns are in play for him here. This fight against Alexander Costa, he was 74-54. So he's showing better, and then he finished Schnell. I don't read too much into someone finishing Matt Schnell. I think if you hit Matt Schnell with a sandwich too hard, you could finish him. So let's just be honest here. I see the path for Erceg. I see the path for Pantoja. I am having a hard time because I can see a little bit of both. And again, like I've said three times, you might want to live bet Erceg here because this is all about if Pantoja can take him down. And it's not just the takedowns, it's the takedown and control time, right? Erceg's been taken down by David Dvorak, controlled for about a minute. Taken down in I can't remember which one of the other fights, controlled for a minute. People might take him down, but he's not getting controlled on the ground. We all know how good Pantoja's control is. Now, is he going to be able to control Astro Boy on the ground? That's the question. It's a hard one for me to cut. I think I lost my chance to bet on fucking Erceg. He's plus 160 now.
Oh, damn.
Man, he was plus 200 like a week ago,
He
right?
was plus 275 like fucking a while ago.
Oh man, so yeah, I think I lost my chance. If I was going to bet him, I think I lost it. I'm getting a lot more value on Pantoja now. So I might just leave it for the live betting market, to be honest with you. My pick is Pantoja for now. I think he can control him, but I,
I think
I
Pantoja's been
can't even
weathering
look at
too
any.
many storms.
I might go Erceg. I'm very torn on this fight. I'm very torn. So I'm gonna leave you with this. It's like I might live bet this, folks.
Hey, see how your other bets do and make a play at the end of the night.
Yeah,
I bet just 2 days ago, and I already have a single on Erceg from way back when he's plus 275, but just 2 nights ago, $90 for 500 on Martinez and Erceg. 90 pays 500. I was like, all right, I'll throw another $90 on this. I already had some on Erceg and some on Martinez, but the two together, 90 for 500. I thought was a pretty good return. Yeah, there you have it, guys. This is a pay-per-view card, so we will definitely have another episode with our favorite bets and props. I think those come out tomorrow, but look for the episode Thursday night. I'm busy tomorrow, but Thursday night we will have our best bets, our favorite props, all that stuff. Please like, please subscribe. Let us know your favorite picks and what you agree with or disagree with. Have a good one.